Welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.
An accent. We need God. Only God can bring us out of this mess.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. First name's Donnie, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul. Baby, I hope that you are doing well. Thank you, Lord, for your grace and your mercy. Grace, getting what we don't deserve, and mercy, not getting what we do deserve. I'm going to tackle a topic, or attempt to tackle a topic today that has been on my mind for a while. What is that? Well, thank you for asking. I'll tell you. Bam. HBO's The Wire. Written by David Simon. I think he used to be a Sun reporter, Baltimore Sun reporter. Remember the Baltimore Sun, the same one that apologized 2-3 months ago for all of its unfair coverage of the Black community? Yeah, that Sun paper. That's where David Simon worked as a reporter. He was born in D.C., 62 years of age, so that makes him about 5 years older than me. I don't blame David Simon for his limited understanding of Baltimore. I mean, he's a writer. He's trying to make money. I guess part of that is telling a story. But if you know anything about the news, you know if it bleeds, it leads. And so this guy, and I'm just surmising, gets a heap of all of the negative stuff in Baltimore. The dope, the coke, the crack, and drug dealing, the criminals, and makes this story that is now seemingly larger than life. Talking about my city. And if you live here, our city. But I don't blame David Simon. And the purpose of this is to encourage more writers. We need more writers in the world, especially in my community. Because when you don't have enough writers, you allow someone like a David Simon to paint this picture of Baltimore. It's so narrow in scope. So no, The Wire doesn't paint a full picture of Baltimore. It paints a partial picture that's ugly. Our worst. Imagine somebody coming in your house just after a dog and got loose and went through all your belongings and dragged everything out, crapped on the floor, urinated on the floor, and somebody comes in with a TV camera and takes a picture. And that's what the world thinks of you forever and a day. Doesn't matter if your house was spick and span before or spick and span after. This news outlet has gotten one aspect of Baltimore and taken it and runs so far down the road that the whole world just believes, is Baltimore like The Wire? You go anywhere. Is Baltimore really like The Wire? Is Baltimore really like The Wire? Every city in America, white or black, Eskimo, Latino, has some negativity. That if a television camera came in, if I went to Alaska and I found a group of Alaskans engaged in criminal behavior, I then take that one story and say all of Alaska. Well, I don't say it, but I just keep painting the picture. And so as the world sees this image, they figure just Alaska is just nothing but bad people. And it's unfortunate. And that's why we need more writers. We need more black writers. We need more indigenous writers. I could handle David Simon's The Wire a little better if he were from here, but he's not. And so he has a carpetbagger perspective. He don't really know Baltimore. He covered some news scenes. He went to the jail. He went to some funerals. Surface at best. He interviewed some criminals. He found some lifers. I don't sell coke. I never sold coke. Never sold dope. Never sold crack. The Wire is only part of Baltimore. And it's a smack in the face of the hardworking people. And they're sure, drugs are everywhere. But this HBO's The Wire goes deeper than just the fact that it highlights crime. It goes deeper and paints a picture of the worst of Baltimore. The absolute worst. It misses so much. And I guess that wasn't the purpose of The Wire, to tell the good about Baltimore. The purpose was to make some money for David Simon. And sure, some actors and actresses got some time on the silver screen. Whoop the MF and do. Good for you. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you got a role in a movie that tears down your damn city. Malcolm X said, entertainers have never been our leaders. Entertainers are not our leaders. They have never been our leaders and never will be our leaders, because their job is to entertain, make you laugh, make you cry, make you feel, take your mind off of whatever is going on. I had a personal experience with The Wire. I live in Sandtown, as many of you know. And they were shooting on my block, 1100 block of North Carrollton Avenue. They were shooting. I get a knock at the door. Hey, this is HBO. We want to use your house. The most interesting thing went down when it came in. One I didn't expect. But after, delving a little more, I get it. But they said my house had too much furniture in it. It wasn't empty enough. That was a better way of putting it. Basic house like everybody else. Living room set, dining room set, kitchen set, bedroom, another bedroom, back room. They said it had too much furniture in it. It wasn't what they were looking for. And I had to digest what had happened. So I'm glad that I have furniture. Let me say that. I'm grateful to have furniture. I'm also grateful that I did not allow those people in my house beyond that initial screening to see if this house fit their purposes. But the audacity of some people doesn't even touch the ugliness that has been perpetuated about the city of Baltimore when it comes to the wire. Again, yes, we have drug dealers, abusers, addicts. We have more addicts in Sandtown now that do not fit the majority demographic than ever before. And this all happened since Freddie Gray. So HBO, they come back and they do a We Own the City. And some local people were excited about this. But it's my understanding, I did not watch it, is that at the end, this HBO show, We Own the City, suggested Detective Sean Suter committed suicide. Hey, Danita Tolson. Of course, yes, absolutely. We Own the City says that Detective Sean Suter committed suicide. Defies logic, defies common sense. I have cop friends who suggest that Sean Suter killed himself, and I have cop friends who said he did not kill himself. Let me tell you this. I don't know where you from, but a cat from DC, knowing what I know about Baltimore, is not gonna move his family. 5 beautiful children who clearly loved him, and a wife who loved him. A cat from DC is not going to come to Baltimore and kill himself in a filthy West Baltimore alley. That's not happening today, yesterday, tomorrow. It just ain't happening. It don't fit. Just like Bob Lee Clay. He was right-handed. Robert Lee Clay was the contractor who was found dead after he put out all this literature about Martin O'Malley not doing right by black business. Some use the term minority business enterprise. And Bob Clay was found, again, he was right-handed with a bullet wound in the left side of his head. The coroner said it was suicide. Something's wrong with this coroner. They're lying. It's plain and simple. And that's a part of the corruption that the wire misses. I was watching Fox News today. I know, bad move, bad move. And I saw the sheriff guy, black guy that comes on. He does the runaway slave report. You know, the one that talks about all of the black criminals who need to be apprehended. Never see a white guy, ever. Ever. All black people. Now, I must say, because we searched for the truth, blackusa.news, Be More News, the news before the news where we uncover the truth. There is a lot of murder in the black community nationwide. 53% of the murder victims are black in America. 53% of the murder victims are black in America. I remember, this takes me back to the young lady, young white woman I spoke to over at Johns Hopkins at the coffee shop over there. And she said most of the crime, this is a Johns Hopkins student. And black people make up 15% of the population. She said to me that black people commit most of the crime in this country. A Johns Hopkins student. Our best and brightest. You can't prove that to me. Ever. Never. Ever. It's easy to point at you and not point at me. It's easy for me to see the dirt around your door. It's easier to see your dirt than to see my own dirt. And that's what's happening. It's easy to talk about you, but to talk about me, and that's America. America is easy to point the finger at you. But in terms of the responsibility that lies therein, no responsibility, no accountability. And so we need more writers. We need more Black journalists. We need more Black writers. We need more people telling our own story. And I'm almost done because this really doesn't deserve but so much attention. Not long ago, a book came out about Dunbar. And while we plugging books, let me plug my own books. I Am Black Wall Street and Unapologetically Black. There we go. Yeah, that's better. I Am Black Wall Street. Book came out about the Dunbar Poets basketball team, class 83. The writer was from Brooklyn, New York. And I remember a couple of the players being really excited about this guy from Brooklyn writing about them in his book. And I'm personally insulted. I'm insulted because I think we should write our own stories, our own books. And just like Brooklyn got writers, Baltimore got writers. And just like they found, the guy in Brooklyn found them, somebody in Baltimore can find them and write about them if they can't write about it. I graduated from Dunbar. I can write a book. I've written two. You can write a book too. Anybody can write a book. It just takes time. Same way you practice layups, practice writing. It ain't complicated. But we lazy. And so when the finished product comes, and we looking at it like Henrietta Lacks, this woman out the clear blue comes to write a book about the Henrietta Lacks family, the Lacks family. I want to say Rebecca Sleuth. I'm not sure of the name. But Oprah lifted this white woman up. As if this white woman's story about the Lacks family has credibility. Malcolm X said that the media is the most powerful entity on earth. It can make the innocent look guilty and the guilty look innocent. Black people, stop letting other people try to tell your story. Write your own story. You went to school. If you can write down lottery numbers, I figure you can write a book. Just takes practice, just takes doing. Write your own story. Baltimore is more than the Wire. They don't talk about James Mosher baseball, the oldest Black little league in the nation, going back to 1960, continually operated. They don't tell you about the giants who led that league and who still lead that league, including the late Mr. Allen Meacham Sr. They don't tell you about Mr. Neal, Mr. Marlin, Mr. White, and all those Delmar Harrod, all those volunteers who've been volunteering over there since I was a little boy. None of that story is in the Wire, how baseball saved our lives. They don't tell you about the coach like we had at Easterwood, Mad Dog, our 13 and under BNBL basketball coach. The sacrifices he made to come out to Easterwood Park from wherever he lived and to spend time with some young people in the neighborhood. He lived all the way out Randallstown, if I'm not mistaken, but made it his business to come and spend time with us. Teach us the basics. Teach us the fundamentals. There's no story in the Wire about Rodell Bailey Hill. Been a basketball coach for 20, 30 years, ran at John Eager Howard. Then they build a new school, Dorothy Height, and they won't even let the kids in the neighborhood use the gym. They don't tell you these stories. They tell you about 21st century schools money, but they don't tell you that where they put these schools and the communities they put these schools in, they don't let the kids in the neighborhood use the schools unless they attend there. That's not the Baltimore I grew up in. You have too many people who don't know the history, don't know the potential, don't know the possibilities. When I grew up, we could go over to Carver to swim. We could go down Calverton to swim. We could go up Coppin to swim, to play basketball. Coppin wasn't the institution it is today in terms of buildings, but it was certainly connected to the community. That's when Dr. Calvin Burnett was there, a man who did 32 years. So if you want to do a story on Dr. Calvin Burnett and how he spearheaded all of this development that we see happening today on North Avenue, 2500 block, from Gwynns Falls all the way down to Baker Street. A positive story in that expansion is that half of Warwick, Thomas Avenue, and Whitmore Avenue were knocked out, gotten rid of. And I'm glad they're gone because I lost a lot of friends in them alleys, in those streets. It was time. Crack had wreaked havoc on West Baltimore. East Baltimore went through the same thing. And the vacants, I mean, HBO did a great job highlighting all the negatives. Now let's highlight some of the solutions. Let's highlight some of the community leaders who have always been toiling in the vineyard. Miss Terrell over there in East Baltimore, Cynthia Brooks over there in East Baltimore, Leon Purnell in East Baltimore, the Men and Family Center. These people committed their lives, have committed time, energy, hours upon hours of service to make Baltimore better in places where the media don't even want to go. North and Patterson Park. You don't see the media over at North and Patterson Park looking at the raggedy structures that people have been looking at for years. But we need more Black writers. And if you would like to be a writer, I will personally help you. I'm looking for some media personnel. I've been wanting to tell you this for a while. If you're interested in being a journalist, if you have a young person, I will help train them. I will help get them access to resources to be the very best journalists that they could be. Writers too. You don't have to be a news writer. Just want some writers. Want some people who are conscientious enough about their city, who have enough love for their city, that they would start telling some of the other stories that never make it on Fox. See, Fox will come and paint all of these negative pictures, then they go and get somebody with curlers in their hair, somebody that can barely talk, or somebody half high to give you the rundown, as if that's all of Baltimore. Baltimore got some of the smartest Black people in the world, historically, despite racism, discrimination, and slavery, despite people like Baltimore Mayor J. Barry Mahou, the father of segregation, despite these racists. They don't tell you about George McMecken and Ashby Hawkins, who regularly put foot in J. Barry Mahou's hind parts. And if you don't know anybody, you think that big building at the bottom of 83 is a recreation center. It's the Reginald F. Lewis Museum, named after a man out of East Baltimore, a Dunbar poet, go Poets, who led the historic takeover of TLC Beatrice, with headquarters in Paris, if I'm not mistaken. He wrote the book, Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? I mean, I'd have had a lot more respect for David Simon had he did some reference to Little Willie, if you will. Now, I don't recall the whole damn series, but where Little Willie was the numbers man, he invested in Black businesses. That's just like Marion Barry. You let white media, and I ain't talking about all white media, I'm talking about the mainstreamers, like that last lady who went over there to interview Marion Barry before he died, asking him about some pocket tickets. He dismissed her with the swiftness. Move along. Get out of here. Go cover some real news. She thought she was going to get a one-up on Marion Barry. Go away, little girl. They paint all of these negative ones, say Marion Barry this. Marion Barry created more Black millionaires than any damn man you know. And you go over there to D.C., the right time of day, talking smack about him, even at 14th and you might catch a beat down. Why? Because he helped employ a lot of people. He helped employ a lot of black people. Long before he got into politics, he was the jobs man in DC. But invariably, mainstream media will come and want to dismiss Marion Barry. No, we dismiss you because we know who you are. We know what you stand for. We know your character, and we know it's very lacking. HBO's The Wire only tells a snippet of Baltimore. Doesn't go into our greatness, the greatness we saw the day after the riots, when Baltimoreans emerged to reclaim their city amidst the stupidity, the stupid riot that was started by the police commissioner when he closed Mondawmin subway station and didn't tell the Douglas High School principal, hey, your kids won't have a way home today. And then the mainstream media news reported that the rioters were coming down Pennsylvania Avenue. Hello, mainstream news. The mainstream rioters you're talking about were young people who went to Douglas, going home. And when Obama called our young people thugs, I think he was misdirecting that comment. The real thugs are in the Senate. Millionaires who get paid to make our laws. Go figure. Baltimore ain't a city of thugs. Baltimore is a city of some very beautiful people. And if you come here talking that smack, I don't care who you are, President, Joe Blow on the street, you very much could catch a smackdown. Wherever you go, go with respect. Treat people like you want to be treated. Don't talk about my city, because we might send them boys after you. Have a good day. And happy Sunday. And write your own story. Tell your own story. If you need me, call me, 443-858-2684. We're always looking for show hosts. We're always looking for writers. I'm very interested in helping to groom the next generation of writers, Black writers, Black conscientious writers. We don't need any more Toms. I understand a Black news outlet endorsed a white woman over a Black man for the comptroller. Wake up and smell the damn Maxwell House. That's why we need Black writers, conscientious Black people who ain't tap dancing, step and fetch it. Great to see you, Danita. Have a beautiful day. Good morning. Have a beautiful day, everybody. And write your own damn story.